Hello, Jan here from Into the Woods. So it's February and I've come out to the garden, to my vegetable garden, to start tidying up before this sowing season starts. And there's a lot of dead plants lying around in my garden. I didn't do an autumn clear up, and so I'm just getting rid of anything that's kicking around at the moment to get some clear beds for this season. These are my bean poles, and these are the bean plants that have been climbing up. And I just wanted to talk about how I deal with the beans, the bean roots. It would be so easy to just get the bean plants and hoik them up out of the ground and shove them onto the compost heap. However, what I choose to do instead is snip them off at ground level and leave them where they are. I practice no-dig gardening. So the roots, instead of being dug out or pulled out, stay there. And there's a lot of good reasons for this. First of all, especially because they're beans, then they have those nodules on that are nitrogen fixing. So there's a lot of nourishment, a lot of protein that can then be released into the soil for all the little soil creatures to eat. Also, those root systems, they go down, it's like a tree upside down in the ground. So as the little creatures eat that vegetable matter, it leaves a tree-shaped series of holes in the soil, which then means that the soil is more open to receiving rain when it rains, because there's channels that go right down in. So those channels can be filled, and then it can spread out slowly to the rest of the soil, even if it's just a shower. Also, it creates open spaces within the soil, open to the surface, which allows oxygen to come down into the soil, gaseous exchange, so that the waste gases can come out by diffusion, and the fresh gases can go in, oxygen can go in to feed all these little creatures. And finally, they're like little open highways within the soil that the creatures can move along and move from one part of the soil to another, creating balance. So there's lots and lots of good reasons why just cutting off a plant at the surface and leaving it there is a good idea if you also practice no-dig gardening like me. So these upside down trees in the soil that are left when the roots decompose. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about human well-being, and how we can make one change in our life and it can be something quite small, but it has quite far-reaching effects on our lives. Like it could be, I don't know, doing mindfulness for 10 minutes a day, or going for a walk every day, even for a short walk, or something to do with our diet, giving up sugar or drinking more water, whatever. It's just one thing, and it doesn't have to be a massive thing like going and slogging our guts out in a gym. It can be a small change that just take a few minutes a day, but that change kind of ripples out in our life. It starts out as one change and it has an effect on all the other areas of our life. Our appetite, our mood, our energy levels, our sleep. And then it can grow and it can build because we feel motivated. And it can reach all sorts of areas that you would never know about just looking at this stalk that's left at the top of the ground. It's just one thing, it's just a little stalk sticking out like that. But underneath the surface, it's got tendrils that are reaching out and communicating with all of the soil in this bed. And to me, that's what making a change for the good, for our well-being, the kind of effect it can have for us. We can move mountains just by making small changes.